This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
March 21st, 2019, International Forest Day, a date that demands, if a series schedule brings you to the Nurburgring, the configuration of choice is destined to be the infamous Nordschleife that winds through the forests of the Eifel Mountains. But wait, a quick check of the calendar shows today is not March 21st, but rather the 22nd. Forest Day was yesterday. So with that revelation understood, the assault on the Green Hill can wait. Today, to the relief of many a driver and one commentator in particular, the racing at the Nurburgring will be confined to the Grand Prix circuit. From Germany, it is the Advanced Mazda Cup Round 2 of the 2019 Spring Season Championship. And you can see all the strength of field action live as it happens right here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing Esports Network. Hello, everyone, and welcome. The hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, Joe Peak, joins yours truly, Bill Soups on, to bring you our bird's eye view. Sean Crackers Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beer. The schedule makers are just indulging my inclination to procrastinate because in 5 rounds, the series will indeed return here to take on the Northern Loop. But for the drivers right now, it is not about procrastination, but desperation, because the task at hand is the Grand Prix circuit. And Joe, the Grand Prix circuit should not be taken lightly.
You're right, and I think the Grand Prix course gets overlooked too often because of how much of a jump it is to the level of the Nordschleife. But if you drive a lap around this more modern southern loop, you start to appreciate how tricky it is. The 16 turns are for the most part flanked by paved runoff, but it's not tough due to great dangers. It's more because of the variety of corners that really test your skills behind the wheel, as well as your skills in the garage to get the car set up. You've got everything from off-camber bends to heavily banked corners, and there's a swath of radii from the sharpest at Haug Hook to the sweepers at Valvoline and Bilstein. And of course, the MX-5 isn't really what the creators had in mind when they made this place, so you're looking at over 2-minute lap times because of its 3.2-mile length. So yeah, you're not fearing for your life like on the Nordschleife, but if we hop on board the GSRC lap guide, you'll realize why it'll separate the good from the great. Alright, we're in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around the Nurburgring. Haug Hook will probably be a very popular place for overtakes, but because it's so sharp, it presents some problems. Drivers often tangle with each other here, and outbraking yourself during a pass attempt is pretty common. From there, you've got the Mercedes Arena. There's not a lot of heavy braking in this portion, though on rare occasions you do see side-by-side racing. Honestly, the most difficult part is this last chicane that leads you back to the main circuit. It's a little too fast for second gear, but kind of slow for third gear. Also, it rewards those who can really punch it and keep the car planted over the curbs. Finally, you get a little bit of a breather on your way down into Valvoline. Despite the fact that it's a decently long straight, overtaking into this plunging left-hander is pretty tough. You only brush the brakes, plus the racing line keeps you hugged to the left as much as possible on the exit. Ford is way slower, but also doesn't offer a good opportunity to get past your opponent. What you can do is make sure to get back on the gas as soon as the car will stick, because it's a pretty good run downhill towards Dunlop. This hairpin has a fair bit of banking, at least it's an unusual amount for a modern road circuit. But it's best to treat it like most hairpins. Square off the exit for a nice late apex and then apply the throttle. After that is the Schumacher S. With as little power as the MX-5 has, this is easily flat out. I wouldn't recommend going too wide, though it's not too terribly difficult. It'll just cost you quite a bit of time. As you drift the car back to the right side of the track, Michelin presents another chance to try and outbrake someone. But this left-hander is similar to Valvoline in that you don't want to track out too far in order to line up for Bilstein. You really don't need the brakes here except to hopefully rotate the car a little bit. But making sure you get a good run can make or break your race, because other than the front stretch, this is the longest acceleration zone of the track. With the tighter NGK chicane in the draft, many pass attempts will happen here. You can take a lot of curb, but it'll hurt your ability to apply the throttle sooner. From there, Coca-Cola has a rather wide radius, and since you don't get much speed on your way towards it, it's mostly a matter of coasting through. Once again, mash that gas pedal down and try to carry your speed onto the front stretch. Many will try to position themselves to defend or attack into the first hairpin. But hopefully, if you've kept it all together, you've now finished a lap around the Nurburgring.
And there's a lap around the Grand Prix circuit at the Nurburgring. Now let's go ahead and take a lap around the point standings. With only one race in the books, these standings pretty much mirror the results of the opening round. You can see a couple Canadians there sitting in second and third. That's Mike Dam and David Paton. Behind them, it is Marcello Susuisubio down there in fourth position, 30 points out of the lead. Travis Wallace, the U.S. driver, down in fifth, but it's all taken place behind the defending champion, Robert Hartley, who posted 204 iRacing points in the opening round. That should shake up a little bit as more races get underway, but we'll keep an idea of how that plays out throughout the season. All right, Joe, let's go ahead and take a look at the race details.
Absolutely. Round 2 that we kick off here today. They do get 4 drop weeks because they use those official points. And with this being the MX-5, as you'd expect, it's very short races, 25 minutes, much like you'd see in an SCCA race. So no pit stops scheduled. I did allude to it. The setups are open on these cars. It can make a difference, especially on tracks like this where you've got corners where you need the car to be nice and planted. Of course, incident cap at 17, so we could see some drivers DQ'd depending on how much they flirt with the edges of the track. And they have no spare car to save them if they get any sort of damage. But around here, if I'm honest, Bill, if they get any damage, it's probably going to be from contacting other cars. There's so much runoff with this thing being built for Formula One machinery that I don't know that you'd really be able to send the car flying into the walls in many places.
Before we get into qualifying, which is going to start up here pretty soon, you can get an idea just from that picture that it's kind of overcast here, kind of dark. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weather real quick and see what that's going to mean, Joe.
Yep, very, very cool as well in the Eifel Mountains here today. Only 65-degree track temperature, which is about as cold as you can get here on iRacing for the track temp. Yeah. And then they do have a little bit of wind, 10 miles an hour. It could affect you in a few corners. We'll see if that swaps around much. That's really what's going to be the bigger effect on the cars, is if that wind changes direction on them. Just about 45% humidity, but pretty grippy conditions in general around this track, which should be good for the racing.
We have 18 drivers entered in the race as the session did split. And we have a iRacing, the iRating here, of which is what, about 3,500.
Yeah, it is very, very steep here for only two splits. The top one seems to have really collected a lot of great drivers in here. You could see Holland putting his first lap in, and he's actually already tumbling down the order as more and more drivers put a time in. He was all the way up in, I think, second for a while, and now he's down to 10th.
Tentative pole sitter Sonny Cancian's put in a 2:18.1. That's about a second faster than Mike Dam, who followed him around most of the opening race.
One of the things you got to be careful about in qualifying is it can be easy in a few spots to get 1Xs. It's sort of like Spa in that sense, where you're trying to push the limit because of that paved runoff, because you really don't hurt anything by going over it except losing your lap time. So you really got to try and take it right to the edge, since there's no dirt and grass that you're kicking up. It's all down to how close do you flirt with what's considered the boundaries.
A lot of the names that we saw in the opening round are back here again. We talked about Cancian, and Dam is here as well. Marcello Isubio is here. David Paton also. All these guys sitting inside the top 5.
George Fike running a pretty good first qualifying lap. He's got himself in 5th and is appropriately the number 5 car according to his iRating. Baton across, and that's going to be his first time lap, and I think that's his second lap actually, because he pulled over to a halt, and that's going to put him in P5 ahead of George.
Jordy was comfortable in P5. He got moved down one spot. New name here today. There's somebody we saw last time. Jonas Mumilidis. He was doing really well up front. Made a mistake. Might have cost him the win.
Yeah, and he might cost himself the win here in the qualifying, because I'm not sure he's going to be able to get around. He started his first lap rather late. He's trying to come around for the second one because his first one didn't count, Bill.
Yeah, he's got to get this thing in.
Garcia in 3rd, but it was his first lap that was the faster one with a 2:19.2. And he's punching a bit above his weight. The number 16 car starting 3rd currently.
New name we're not familiar with. There's Caden Bin.
And looks like that second lap a 220.3. So that'll do no better than 11th for him.
Let's go ahead and pick up the driver in the number 12 car, Ioannis Mumilidis. Mumilidis back there still getting in that lap time. Oh, here we're looking at Thacker now. He needs to get in time.
And Ioannis did get one in at the last second, and that actually put him up to 3rd.
It was a good one. Yeah, that's what we expected. And I believe that'll do it for qualifying. So let's go ahead and give you the starting grid right now. Since there's 18, Joe, I'll take the first 10. Sonny Cancian's going to be inside of Mike Dam. They said 1-2 in the points. They said 1-2 on the grid. Ioannis Mumilidis in the 3rd position, flanked by Ivan Garcia, a name we're not familiar with. Justin Gulias is going to be in the 5th position, inside of David Paton. Jody Fike sits in 7th with Travis Wallace outside of him. 9th and 10th go to Jeff Taylor and Ryan Walker. Joe?
11th is going to be Josh Muggleton. I believe he joins us from the Supercars, is what he typically runs, if I'm noticing the right person. Caden Bean will be starting 12th with Aaron Thacker in 13th. Then it's John White starting P14 and Derek Holland in 15th. Lee Martin starts 16th, last car with the lap time. Marcelo Eusebio starts 17th, Matt Morris in 18th.
Hopefully Marcelo Eusebio will get to race. He is out there. That's a driver to keep an eye on. He's quick. He's going to be way back in 17th spot. That's going to be somebody to watch as he works his way through the field. 18 cars here today. Talked about Caden Bin. I believe that's a little cross-pollination. I think we see him race. I'm going to guess. I think he races in the Camel Series, if I remember right.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think we saw him there this last week.
Always good to see drivers coming in, popping in here. Okay, it's going to be a fast one. 25 minutes, no pit stop. This is a sprint race. There should be plenty of grip. Sonny Canchin was almost 9/10 of a second faster than Mike Dam, who races in second. Dam's going to have his work cut out for him if he hopes to hang on to the back of the Australian. Engines start to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and it is Sonny Canchin out in front. Dam tucks into second. Mumalides back there in third position in the blue car. Garcia and Gulias round out your top 5.
This can sometimes be a big bottleneck through this corner because it narrows up and it's tight, but it looks like they handled it actually fairly well. Just a little beating and banging, but nobody's gotten turned around.
They race 1-2 up front, a little bit of a hornet's nest back behind as they are still struggling for position. A little bit of a bump there from the yellow and white car of Jeff Tyler into the back of Travis Wallace, and now Wallace gets spun.
Oof. Not exactly sure what caused that. Maybe just a bit of miscommunication. We'll go back to it in a bit. It isn't super tight coming out of that Mercedes arena. It just sometimes your sight lines can be pretty poor depending on what sort of equipment you're working with.
Started with a little bump from Tyler, and then I'm not sure Wallace realized he had his nose in there. Up front, it is Canchin and Dam. Dam doing a good job of staying on the back of the Australian driver. Mumalides under pressure from Ivan Garcia for third spot.
Yeah, Garcia's been holding right on the back of him, but hasn't been threatening since the Mercedes arena. They went side by side through there. Now he's going to try and take a little peek up to Michelin. Decides better of it. The draft isn't as big here as some of the other tracks, although it will reel you in, which doesn't bode well for the drivers, honestly, Bill, because Sonny Canchin's qualifying pace just looked incredible.
Yeah, as we ride on board with Dam right now. A little bit of a bifurcation there between second and third. Dam about 1.5 seconds up on Mumalides right now as he tries to hang on to the back of Canchin. Does not have a good run there, though, and now loses ground.
Behind them, though, if you go back to 10th, there's a lot of cars clumped together. That's because they tried to go too wide through the NGK chicane, and it's 3 wide behind them at one point. I think that's Marcio Eusebio, as well as Derek Holland and Aaron Thacker, who somehow went through Coca-Cola 3 abreast.
Eusebio up into 13th now, but he hasn't closed the door yet on Holland, who has his nose in there on the inside. They race for 13th position.
Look at this absolute cluster of cars. It's exciting to watch. The unfortunate thing is that they're all costing each other a lot of time, especially to the leaders in these early battles. They'll need to get this sorted out soon and try to find some pace. But I'm not sure that we're going to see that with the way that they're all racing with one another.
Ben gets the best of Walker now into 9th position. I can report up front there has been a change for the podium position. Oh, he got it back. Mumalides actually got passed by Garcia, but when I see back there that Ionis came back and now has third back again.
the behind them, Justin Gulai, is having a horrible time with his connection. I've watched him blink in and out a few times. So they've got to hope that he does not have a connection problem like that while they're battling. We saw that with Sonny Canchin last week, and it caused all kinds of headache for the drivers he was fighting with.
That's happened right in front of the sheriff, Jordy Fike, as he blinks on and off. Jordy's just going to have to race and hope that nothing strange happens to the car in front of him.
Oof, that battle's not letting up. Back in the middle of the pack. And I think Jeff Tyler's going to get the best of John White to move himself into 7th. Nicely done.
Right on board with Tyler right now, looking back at White.
See a little bit of side-by-side action behind them. That's the likes of Eusebio and Muggleton. Oh, and a car in front of... Oh, no!
That was Morris going in really hot.
Way too hot. Absolutely plowed into someone. I'm not sure who that was.
Hayden Bin got it.
He got binned.
He did indeed. A great... Okay. We're going to stay on this battle. We'll come back and take a look at that one as well.
Oh, but John
more.
White just got turned on the straight, on the pit straight.
Oh, it's Jeff Tyler again. Now, this one, I got to mind my tongue here, but we need to take a look at this one. Is just too ugly to ignore. Joe, you're better at being polite than I am.
I don't want to hint at anything because I until we talk to the drivers, it could be any number of things that cause this, but it does look like he steers a little bit into them. But again, internet connection, maybe hardware issues, anything could have caused this.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's still fighting right now, side by side with Muggo.
Oh,
Josh, way
boy.
off course, though.
Good catch from Josh.
Just missed it on screen. Now he's going to have to fight with Eusebio.
There's the number 8 car on the inside, the dark one, the Spanish driver. Gets that pass made. Did not put in a qualifying time. That's why he's having to work so hard.
Tell you what, Derek Holland's having a nice little run. He started this race in 15th. He's currently 10th in this group.
This is where the action is. You're not missing anything up front. The top 4, oh my goodness, are separated by many
It's 3 wide,
car
though,
lengths.
here. And that was Eusebio split in the middle between Muggleton and Tyler, and coming out the best.
Muggleton trying to hang on to the back of the Spanish driver racing in the 8. Oh, look at this. We look up ahead. To the left is Muggleton. To the right is Eusebio, and the pass is made. But look at the drive-through from Eusebio. He gets the pass made. He's going to bring along the blue, yellow, and white car of Jeff Tyler.
Nice move. Just waiting patiently to see how that plays out ahead of you, using your momentum. But it's not over. Look at this. Tyler's now got Muggleton with a big draft on him, and he's going to get his nose to the inside.
Heading down into the first corner. They are side by side. Preferred possession of Muggleton.
Oh, he's got to get it turned in. A little bit of shove to keep Tyler from finding the apex, but that was more just, I'd say, because Muggleton outbroke himself.
All right, Derek Holland right behind now, looking to get into 9th position, working on the back of Jeff Tyler.
It's amazing. We've still got this much battling going on. They're all still stuck together. I think the only cars that have dropped off are the ones that had accidents.
Early on, Tyler and Wallace got together. That's why Wallace is out of the race. We'll take a look at this. We'll go ahead. Well, this is early on. We're going to go back and take a peek at this one because Travis Wallace is a former race winner. So we'll take a look and see what happened to him.
This is just exiting out of the Mercedes arena, like I was mentioning.
There he goes.
And that was actually Tyler first time. So that's
Tyler.
Twice.
Yeah.
It really makes me wonder if maybe it's an internet thing. He's seeing things slightly different on his screen. And so for him, it must look like ghost contact.
I'll go for that. Look at this battle going on right behind him. Oh, we're riding on board there on the replay.
And to Tyler's credit, he did get squeezed on that one.
Yeah.
As we watched on board.
That was lap 1, so there was a lot of jockeying for position there. It was really crowded. Okay, Holland is going to get passed right now for 10th position, making the move on the top side. This is David Paton. Another driver sits inside the top 5 in points.
Yeah, well, we saw last time, though, that trying to go through there too wide, and it looks like Holland is going to back up and take it single file. Just doesn't seem to work out well. You got to make this pass happen, or if you find yourself, you don't feel confident that you could outbrake the other person, just let him go in that chicane and fight him another day, or else you're just going to be losing way too much time because it's so tight through there.
Director, I'm going to jump you up to 5th position real quick because we have Jordy Fike under attack from Justin Goulet. Goulet's going to get down in here. This is going into the corner. Oh, he blinks out though for me.
And George is getting on the radio now, just not happy about the connection issues that Justin is going through.
Honestly, Fike had no idea if he could turn in or what was going on there. He had to just basically yield the position.
Sometimes in racing, Bill, the discretion is the better part of valor.
All right, this is Paton looking at Tyler. Tyler in the blue car there. Paton making the move.
There's not much braking into Valvoline here, so I'm not sure. Yeah, just like I thought. It's going to be very hard for anybody to really make an effective pass into that corner. So Paton's probably better served looking right here where he gets a great run down into Dunlop.
Oh, and it's 3 wide behind these guys, so this is great. You can see this pass. And then you saw when we were riding on board, Holland got the best of Walker, and Thacker now back as they race for 10th. Great race going on in the back of the pack. There you see him.
And everybody's racing like this is the last lap for the lead or something, because my goodness, it is aggressive driving too, Bill.
It is a short race, only 25 minutes, but we're not even at the halfway point yet.
Holland's got the lead over Walker and Thacker. Oh, but he's way too wide through Bilstein. The good news is the track switches direction, so he will have the inside, but he's got to get a good run off of here. And he does not, unfortunately.
We're going to go on board with Walker. Oh, we're on board with Holland. There we go.
And it's a little bit too deep in for Walker, I think. Down to the inside once again. Holland with the switchback, just using that to perfection.
He's going to get that, and then the red car down there in 3rd, that is Thacker. But look at the momentum on the top side for Walker.
Really got to watch out how deep you break into here. I almost would say that it's better to maybe break a little bit early, back up the corner, and let the other driver take it in too deep. And that looks to be maybe what Holland's doing. He's trying it. He's got the inside. Oh, but he didn't get the power down off the corner. That was really his downfall there. Just you got to get right back in it.
And Thacker was watching, actually had more momentum off of the corner, just nowhere to put the car.
I always hated this little chicane coming out of the Mercedes arena too. Just such an awkward set of corners. None of them really taking good advantage of it for now.
Don't need to go there, but I can report that Goulet, remember we saw him in a battle with George Feichel. Goulet has had an issue now. He's back into 8th position. He's been passed by Eusebio and Muggleton as well.
Really, it's been completely contrasting between these drivers we're watching here with Holland and Walker and the top 5 who are all spread out.
Yeah, Mike Dam tried his very best to stay on the back of Sonny Ketchum, but he can't. He's 2 seconds back right now. But he's got 1.5 seconds on Mumilides. There is no racing going on up front.
We finally got this group spread apart. I remember we had, what, about a dozen cars involved in this? Now it looks like it's settled down to 3, and it's mostly between Holland and Thacker.
We can stay on this and look. I'm just going to give you a number to keep an eye on. Fike has a 7-second lead over Eusebio. We'll see if Eusebio can run him down here in the final 12 minutes of racing. Look at this going on right here. These guys will not quit.
Thacker did a good job getting his nose in down into Bilstein, but this is costing them time to Walker. He is really streaking away now. Let's see what Holland can do. He's going to have to be very deep on the brakes because he's really not even up beside the likes of Thacker.
He will wait. Watching on in 13th is Lee Martin. He is about 4 seconds behind Holland right now.
Let's see, Martin and Bean are our last 2 drivers out there still running. Tyler has DQ'd, White, Morris, and Wallace are all gone.
Okay, now we'll check on Eusebio. Now remember I talked about Eusebio maybe trying to run down Fike. Well, that hasn't been able to make any ground, but look at this. Josh Muggleton right behind him. And then you got the blinker of Justin Goulet back there trying to catch up as well.
Muggleton pretty close, pretty threatening to Eusebio right now. At number 8, who actually started in 17th. He was one of our drivers who did not get a lap time in, has steadily climbed through the field, but not sure that he's really going to make many more positions unless the drivers ahead of him have some problems, because right now he's got 6 seconds up to Fike.
Well, it was 7 a minute ago, so we'll see how he does, but this is a good battle here from Muggleton.
Also only got 9 minutes left too. So,
you know, Joe, it's funny. We have to do the Trip and Dries back marker shout out. Well, actually, we've been paying most of our attention to the back markers this race. Yeah. This is very strange, but almost need a front marker shout out for this one.
I thought Muggleton might have had him out of the Dunlop hairpin, but didn't get the power down soon enough. You could see just maybe a little bit too tight off the corner. Sometimes you really have to let the car track out.
I love that camera shot. Things begin to settle down. We're looking at the best battle on the track right now.
Muggleton's trying, but it seems like he's almost stalled out. He kept coming forward, had some great battles, and now it looks like he's not really got anything on Marcelo.
No, and if they can behave a little bit and they see if they can knock off sometime, they're still 6 seconds back of Fike. Fike may not be fast, but he's fast enough, I think, to hang on to a 6-second lead with only just under 9 minutes of racing to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a little bit under 6 seconds now, so you're right that the number 8 car is closing in on him. But at this point, Fike just needs to stay steady.
All right, we'll check back in on this one. Remember, this is Walker now. Thacker has pulled away from Holland. They were in a battle, but Thacker now has left Holland behind and is now right behind Walker.
And just as we cut away, I can report that Muggleton actually passed Eusebio.
Oh.
So let's take a look at how that happened. My commentator's curse seems to work in reverse lately. I keep saying how drivers aren't doing very well, and then suddenly they pass someone.
There's the pass made.
Yeah, down to the inside. And you saw exactly what I was talking about earlier, that Muggleton got his foot down in it once he came off of that hairpin. And that's all he needed to do to close the door.
Good run from him. Started in 11th, has worked his way up into 6th position now.
Well, you mentioned the back marker shout out, and well, I think it's about time for that, Bill. So why don't we jump back to the driver who's last one still running? I mentioned him before, Liam Martin. He's actually been overtaken by Caden Bean recently. Lee's running 14th Bean is in 13th at the moment, having started in 12th. This is going to be a little bit disappointing. Remember, he ran into some trouble. That's why he's back there. Derek Holland has had some great action out on track, but even though he's gained positions, he's still well down the order, sitting in 12th, not even halfway up the field. Aaron Thacker is right directly in front of them. They've been in a very close battle all race long. They've been giving us some of the great shots that we've been watching with door-to-door racing. Thacker has Ryan Walker in 10th ahead of him, and top 10 to me seems like a good spot to end the back marker. Shout out Walker, the front of this 3-car train currently.
Let's go up to 6th position real quick. Here comes Subio with a little bit of a bump draft there on Muggleton. Marcello says, we got to go because Goulet's coming.
Yeah, and they definitely don't want to get into a fight with Goulet because he's still struggling with connection. Another run from Eusebio is going to try and pull the same move on Muggo that he pulled on him.
And he gets it done. Now, does he have the momentum to keep it?
Yes, he does. That was gorgeous.
Gap up to Fike, 5.3 seconds. It's shrinking, but there should be not enough time to get there. Oh!
That was contact for sure. Muggleton into the back of Eusebio.
And that brings Goulet back into the mix now as those guys race for 6th. These guys have put on the show here. Eusebio and Muggleton swapping positions back. I'm just going to vocally tell you who's up front. It's Kanchan by 3.6 seconds. Dam in second. He's 2.6 seconds up on Moudalidis.
Wow. Muggleton is not afraid to be right up behind Eusebio. And I think that's what caused the bump before when he was close in on him in the Mercedes arena. He was just a little bit too close. In these wider apart corners, or faster corners, you can get away with that. Oh, wow. Look at the defense, though, from Marcello.
Trying to squeeze him.
Oh,
Careful!
no!
Too much squeeze.
That's the third time I feel like we've seen cars hit each other in a straight line in this race. I think there's some racecraft needing to be taught after this one.
You got to make you shake your head there. I really don't understand. It's lollipops on the chicken wire. It makes no sense to me. These guys are good. Don't know why that would happen.
These are unfortunate mistakes for guys of this caliber. This is not the sort of racing you tend to see from the top split drivers, especially in the Advanced Mazda Cup.
Well, with those two out, it just opens the door for a few people to pick up some spots.
Yeah, and brings us to the other close battle that we were watching before. Holland and Thacker. We're still chasing Walker, but I think they're having so much fun with each other. They've got pace to try and run him down, Bill, but they're not because they keep battling.
These guys have really put on a show.
Thacker's going to go defensive.
And watch the advantage now as Holland will get a good drive off of here. Let's see if he has some momentum. Nope, not going to get it this time.
No, he was way too far off the apex. I was thinking the same thing you were, that all he's got to do is back up the corner, but he tried to take it in too deep. These MX-5s, you really got to be a bit of a thinker in the way that you overtake cars because they are such momentum cars. It's almost like playing chess out here with these things where you got to think a move ahead. What are they doing? What can I do to counteract that?
You're not going to be able to grunt your way to a pass is what you're saying there. Yeah.
So for a good example is that over-under that we probably could have seen from Holland. If he backed up the corner and just planted his foot as soon as he possibly could, like you said, he would have had a great run and probably gotten by.
All right. Remember this guy? His four wheels scare the cockadoo from Kintort East to Newmandu. He is Sonny Catch Me If You Catchin'. Right now living up to his nickname, 3.3 seconds ahead of Mike Dam.
And I'll tell you what, that Sonny needed this result after last week because he unfortunately did not get the finish that he wanted. We didn't even see him in the top 5 in the points, despite having some really good speed. He's going to get the white flag this time by.
There's our driver in second. Then we go back to the driver in third. Joe, this is another driver that needed a good finish. He was racing well last week until he made a mistake, and this is Mumalides. Looks like he's going to get an easy third place here.
Yeah, kept it clean despite being in a few battles early on. And looks like he's going to be able to come away with a podium. You know, we made a big deal out of Dam being way back on the qualifying pace, but in race pace, to be within 3 seconds of Sonny says a lot about what the number 2 car's got underneath him. Garcia as well. Can't discredit the drive that the newcomers had.
Quiet run. He had nobody to race with. Going to come home in fourth. Nobody within 3 seconds of him. And Jordy Fike. Qualified 7th, up 2 spots.
Got some really good representation here today as well, I gotta say. We've got a number of Americans, which is natural for this time of day. We've got Canadians. We've got a DH driver. That's Mumalides, who's up pretty late, Hispano-America. UK&I, that's Ryan Walker. Australia, obviously, with Sonny Canchin. Kind of surprising at just how many drivers we've managed to get.
And here's Sonny. Working his way. Nothing going on. A little bit of a blink.
Yeah, and this definitely works to Sonny's advantage this time. That the internet woes are no worry at all, especially when you're running out in front like that. The only time that he might be worried is if he feels like he might lose the connection, but looks like that was never an issue today.
There we go, blinking a little bit here. Come on, Sonny, you just got a little bit ways to go, and you pick up round number 2.
Sonny making it look easy today, that's for sure.
Crossing pit entrance. Around the final corner, coming onto the main straight. It's the Advanced Mazda Cup. Round 2. From the Nurburgring goes to Sonny Canchin. Mike Dam will get second.
Mumalides gets himself a podium in the series. It's nicely done. We got a little bit of a battle going on down for 11th. It's Martin and Bean still together.
Here we go. Martin out in front, Bean chasing him. Only real battle left on the track. Oh, we got a shot at it.
Oh, Caden, nice job. Just giving it the grunt off the corner. But he's very shallow on his way into Coca-Cola. He's got to make sure and plant his foot down off of it. Oh, it's a run from Martin. It's going to be a little close, but I don't think he's got the speed.
Caden Bean gets 12th position.
11th, actually.
11th, actually, and Lee Martin is going to get that 12th position. Last car on the lead lap. All right, the racing is over here in Germany. Our broadcast has a ways to go. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the finishing order, give out Queen of the Ball Award, our first time this season. You don't want to miss this. Talk to some of the drivers and put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global SimRacing Channel's coverage of the Advanced Mazda Cup Strength of Field event, round 2 from the Nurburgring. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the iRacing Esports Network. The best of the best on the iRacing World Championship, as well as many top private leagues like the one you just watched, are showcased right here on IESN. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe. GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. All right, let's run down your finishing order. And it was wire to wire for Sonny Canchin. It was second place to second place for Mike Dam. The Greek driver racing out of Germany, Ioannis Moumoulidis, in third position. A very quiet fourth for Ivan Garcia. Rounding out your top 5, the Sheriff, Jordy Fike, up 2 spots. David Paton started in 6th. That's where he's going to finish. Justin Goulet had some internet flashing, a little bit of blinking. He's going to come home in 7th, ahead of Ryan Walker. And then it's Aaron Thacker, who put on a great show. Walker, Thacker, and Derek Holland all put on a great show back there. Holland gets 10th position. Joe?
Bit of attrition today for only an 18-car field. Kaden Bean, as we mentioned, getting 11th, with Lee Martin finishing 12th. Then you've got Josh Muggleton, who did finish the race, but a lap down in 13th with the damage that he got. Now you've got all the DNFs behind that. Marcello Eusebio in 14th, Jeff Tyler 15th, John White 16th, Matt Moore 17th, and then Travis Wallace, the last of the cars, in 18th.
And now, before we do driver interviews, we have a special segment here, which we like to call GSRC gets to choose the Queen of the Ball, an award that honors Queenie, a fan and supporter of this series and this broadcast. So what does it take to be Queen of the Ball? Well, that's undefinable, but you know it when you see it. I thought I saw it with Josh Muggleton and Marcello Eusebio. Those guys were due to be destined to be Queen of the Ball today, but they both crashed out. So we had to look through who put on the best show, who was our harder charger. Well, how about Derek Holland, up 5 positions, cracks into the top 10, and really put on a great show with Aaron Thacker and Caden Bin and Ryan Walker. So congratulations to Derek Holland. He is the first Queen of the Ball award winner this season. Interview time, Joe. And we're going to be able to talk to our race winner, Sonny Canchin. Sonny, that's how you do it. Nice and easy, baby.
Yeah, thank you, Sub. Hello there. Hi, everyone, and everyone watching. I just want to say it was very cloudy out there, so there's much more grip to my advantage. And Mike Dam, as fast as he is, I was lucky, I guess, because after the race at the podium, he told me that he haven't had much practice, so I think I did. So it paid off, I guess.
Yeah, you were 0.9 of a second faster in qualifying, but he did a pretty good job, I thought, of sticking with you early on, but eventually there you pulled away, and once you got a little bit of a gap, you were home free. Can the track be too cold for these MX-5s, or is 65 still feeling pretty good?
Still feeling pretty good. The thing with this track is technical, as you know. Doesn't matter. I mean, if it's too grippy or not, or loose, you still have to know when to corner. So it can get really difficult as the race progresses. So at the beginning, I was pushing hard. I was trying to get away from Mike. I knew where my strengths were, especially the last chicane. So I knew I took advantage. I was gaining a few tenths here and there. And once I was out of the draft, I felt much more comfortable and fell into a rhythm, and I never looked back. So it was great. So it really is technical, and pretty much you need to have some sort of experience on this track, a couple of laps.
Okay, remember they have drop races, so you don't have to worry about that first one. You're in good shape here. Pick up a win. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Stuart. Looking forward to the big one tomorrow, the 45 minutes at the MX-5 World Tour. So hopefully really good.
We'll see you then in just a few hours. Sonny Canchin, our race winner. All right, Joe, who you got?
Got third place finisher Ioannis Moumoulidis, who actually had quite a bit of action himself in the first few laps with that great battle you had with Ivan Garcia. Tell us a little bit about that, because there was one point you even had to take off the track.
Greetings. Yes, I butchered my start. I went a little bit over the, on the first corner, I went a little bit over the curb, and I had to save the car there. It put me a little bit in the back. And then I I checked up with Ivan. Unfortunately, I also made the mistake at the first time we came through the chicane. Really lost the car there. I had to go off the track, and I had to wave the position. Fortunately, he was really smart about his racecraft. I really respect that. We went side by side into the first corner, and I managed to go from there.
Now, I was talking a little bit about before the race that setting up a car for a track that's this technical and with this variety of corners can be a little bit difficult. What's the philosophy that you try to do to get the car nice and planted and as much speed as you can out of it at a place like the ring?
Rotation is very important, especially for this chicane. You don't only want initial turn in, you want mid-turn grip. Otherwise, you'll turn in and then just jump the curbs. The car is really unstable if you jump over these curbs in a bad way, and it really can go in circles there. For this track overall, you want turn in, you want rear stability because the exit of the corners is really important. But the most important thing that became a real nuisance during the race to me is really tire wear on this track. The tires were just starting to get worse and worse after every lap, and the car was starting to go wide. It was hard to go on the throttle, hard to follow the guys up in front, and yeah, tire wear is definitely the most important factor of this track.
So we've got actually, where are we going next week? Virginia, actually. So we've got another very long lap time and another very technical track. Are you looking forward to VIR?
I'm looking forward to VIR because it's the first time I've ever raced there. I just got this track for this week, and I've had a look at it. It's a beautiful and interesting track because it's got long straights, and most of the track is actually straights, but they're not quite straight. They have wavy bits and a lot of elevation changes, especially into the last chicane. It's a huge elevation change in a blind corner, and you have to really be smart about how you approach the corners and how you exit them.
Well, we look forward to seeing how you perform there. So far, you've shown yourself to have quite a bit of speed this season.
Thank you.
That was Giannis Mumulidis, who finishes in third today. Final spot on the podium. Last one we're going to talk to, Bill's got Ryan Walker with him.
Ryan, you finished eighth, but boy, you had a ton of fun there. Man, what some crazy racing going on.
Yeah, that was yeah, that was pretty hectic, but yeah, it kept me on my toes, and that was good fun for most of the race. Yeah, I had a decent start off the line, and then yeah, the early stages of the race was just a lot of mayhem, I should say. Yeah, I think there was cars everywhere, left, right, and centre, and yeah, unfortunately, someone for some reason insisted on dive bombing me and a few other cars into the chicane, so it was a bit of mayhem. But yeah, I managed to keep out of trouble and just get to the finish, and also had a good race for one of the late top 10 positions. I had a good battle with I think it was Aaron Facker and Derek Holland. So yeah, I have to say thanks guys for the awesome racing, and yeah, that was just it was great fun, and I forgot how much fun the MX-5 can be around this track.
Well, you talked about the MX-5. What is your car then of choice? You don't race the MX-5 all the time?
Yeah, I've been racing the MX-5 quite regularly in other leagues, and yeah, it's one of my favourite cars. It's just I've not raced around here with this sort of car for quite some time, but yeah, it was good fun.
Put on a good show. A lot of traction out there for you today with the weather, huh?
Yeah, I have to say the track conditions for some reason seem to suit me quite well. So yeah, I wasn't the quickest out there, but the traction seemed to help with being comfortable around this track and in these conditions as well. So yeah, it was good.
Well, look, with the strength of field as high as it was in 8th position, that's going to be good for you. Congratulations. We'll watch you the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, Chip.
Ryan Walker, 8th place today. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Global SimRacing Channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Let's go ahead and talk about who we'd like to thank. And how about the people in the Advanced Mazda Cup community, especially Jordy Fike, for supporting this broadcast. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream cyberspace into your space. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get hold of more of her great work. The Advanced Mazda Cup returns in 1 week for round 3 from Virginia International Raceway. GSRC via IESN will be there to bring you all the action. The next IESN broadcast will be GSRC's coverage of tomorrow's Grand Prix Legends Round 2 from Tsukuba. Really? They're putting that card? Joe Peak and Johan Vanderbilt scheduled to call the action. Going live tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. The Lotus 49s at Tsukuba, the 3/4 of the track will be braking zone. Sliding across your screen now are just some of the upcoming GSRC broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about us, Global SimRacing Channel, Twitter, GSR Channel, Facebook, Global SimRacing Channel, Instagram at GSRC_gram. Also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Joe, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Sonny Ketchen picks up his first win of the season here at the ring. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.